Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Skyrim Special Edition. Let's continue. Let's go fast, fast, fast. As much as we can. It's another day, so maybe I shouldn't have immediately run into this that fast, but okay. I also kind of want to know just like how much inventory I have before we start. Not a lot. So, soul gems, yes, but practically everything else, no. Oof, we don't need to pick up items. We don't need to level up right now. We're doing the Elder Scrolls stuff. And
I'll show you what I know.
I don't think she can train me.
Lead on then.
Next time I level up though, in theory, I should be able to do all of this. Can't work my way here, so we're gonna go full circle. Or maybe I'm just gonna hit a button. Gold ore. Just sitting there. Silver ore. Dwarven arrow. It's kind of interesting that these things would just be sitting there, but whatever. So I was kind of getting into the idea of doing the side missions, but after just playing one day, just a few, yeah. Is this a system designed to clear out? Does it ever stop? Interesting. Do I just have to really run through that? Or is there some trick to this? You can see the eyes have jets on them to burn. And surely I could just run through it with a slow time or something. But it seems very strange that that would be the solution. Really, nothing here. There's nothing hidden under here. Like when I sit on the chair, that doesn't turn off the flyer. Well, whatever. Let's see if my clear sky shout works. Nope. So, a little bit of fire damage. But that's hardly anything important. We can see there's a button here. That will trigger. Seems like there's all kinds of booby traps in this section. Do I have a spider coming? Yeah. Just one day of playing Skyrim after taking a really long break. And I'm still at that point where I just want to rush through it. I don't want to spend that extra time, that extra energy. Let's see, which way should I go? I guess I can't go this way. And there's nothing there. Okay. One of the factors that, and I guess a flame melting this, I think works? Doesn't it? Like, if I go to magic, and then, like, flames, and then equip that. I must be thinking of a different game. I must be, because that certainly didn't work. But I came across this idea, and it's probably not that unique of an idea, but there was this huge hubbub where Bethesda and Valve and wanted to start selling Skyrim mods in particular at first, but just mods in general later on. And then Bethesda would get a cut from some individual persons making mods, and Valve would get a cut because Valve always gets their cuts for anything sold on Steam. And people were very upset about it, and people were stealing people's mods that were freely available before and selling them even though they had no legal right to them. And people were upset about some of the mod creators actually taking previously free mods and making it for sale for value, and nobody was happy about this at all, except for with the small possibility if the scheme had worked, I suppose Valve and Bethesda would have been happy with it. But the idea that they introduced a system years and years later, after the fact, for Skyrim, heard it. But the idea on top of it that it was introduced in a game like Skyrim particularly highlights a flaw with Skyrim, in that this game is not as good as you think it is until a lot of this Dwemer stuff I don't think I've ever seen outside of collecting it inside of chests. Until you have unpaid laborers making mods and fixing your game, Skyrim's not that good of a game. It really isn't. It's a little boring. It's very repetitive. Its systems make no sense. Its story is lackluster at best. Now, maybe when the game first came out, I will certainly grant that there probably wasn't a lot of competition. And so Skyrim, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, was probably, almost certainly, a major improvement over Elder Scrolls 4 and any other fantasy game there. But our standards have since been raised a lot in the video game world, particularly as far as the open world scheme of making video games, which still most of those games are not worth their weight and are often just open world for reasons, for marketing and advertising reasons over actual intelligent reasons, or storyline reasons. We've got a bunch of broken spiders here, and they have a bunch of ore on them, which is nice. And I suppose at any point I could come back to any of these dwarven caves, which is all they are, and pick up a bunch of heavy materials. But I'm not sure I'd ever want to do that. And at the end of the day, modders trying to sell their mods, it kind of makes sense, but it also is just part of a larger problem with the video game industry in general. The people in charge, these big corporations that have happened and that buy up all the indie studios, and then eventually they go bankrupt because they don't know what they're doing, and then the indie studios either spin off, or everybody who worked at a big corporate thing, the big EAs, Ubisofts, Konamis, things like that, they don't know what they're doing. They hurt video games in general. They're just there for looking for money for the bottom line, uh, and to increase their stock value and stuff like that. So they make bad decisions for video games, and because of parts of that, what eventually happens is the programmers that are good, that sometimes make the AAA games, get fired for cheaper, less qualified, less experienced. Uh, I wonder what that is. Interesting. Where am I on the map? Well, wow. Apparently, you have to go through one section to get to the next section. Can I get a little bit closer to discover this area? Or did I miss something? What am I doing? This quest says Alftland Ruined Tower, and I was supposed to transcribe the lexicon and recover the Elder Scroll. Do I even have the lexicon? Let's see. Elder Knowledge, recover the Elder Scroll. Let's see. Unless I'm supposed to go to Bathia's Calling, I've made a mistake here. Somehow. I don't know how or where I made this mistake. Is there a map internally? Because this is quite confusing, and this in no way looks like a place where I would have done enough work to find the lexicon or gone to the Elder Scroll. I guess I could again try to see if flames might work here. Yeah, I just don't think that's this game at all. Then I have to go back here and equip this. I don't have... I didn't pick up something, did I? And I'm not crouched down, so... It's not like I'm totally missing something. Could I? Could I really be missing something? I have an attunement spear. Where'd I get that? And a blank lexicon. Where did I get that? Where did I get these things? Seriously. I must have been just handed those items. Like, there's nothing here. Did I miss something? Like, I am super confused. I saw no area that even looked like it would be the a right place for this. It's not right here in the lighting. Yeah, so to get back to, I guess I have to go out and maybe look somewhere else. To get back to the conversation, it's like the video game industry already has major problems with firing good programmers and creators of games that don't do things like programming but still do a very valid and important part of the job. And the last thing we need to do is encourage giant, super rich companies that really don't have the consumer's best interest at heart, is to say that, okay, so I guess Elfland here might be where I'm supposed to do things. To encourage them to effectively overuse the, well, encourage Bethesda to do a bad job with the creation of their games, which by today's standards I would say that's true. That if Skyrim came out today, there would be some major complaints, and I could easily see myself telling people not to waste their time on it. We see a lot of games on Steam that try to be open world. Certainly they wouldn't have this much polish to them, but they would at the very least, a game like Rust or Ark Survival Evolved have probably better systems and more systems in them than what Skyrim has. And the story in Skyrim really can't compare to any story-based game. So I would say that when you start to think about, well, what's the story of Rust, what's the story of Ark Survival Evolved, there's almost none, but there's very little here, and it's pretty bad even when it is. I guess the sun just came out. Is there a way to open this elevator? Or is this a full circle scenario where I'm going to end up coming back out through this? I guess I'm going to end up coming back out through this side. So I would heavily encourage modders to either use their modding abilities if they so wish to make their own games and make their own money. That way it's so easy to get on the Steam now, and we could certainly do with a flood of better games getting on Steam Greenlight instead of cheap, lazy games. A lot of modders, you have to kind of address it, are very much just only interested in doing nudity mods to the character models, and so you're going to have less of an opportunity to break into an industry there, but there certainly is an industry you could break into. The Offland Glacial Ruins. I have no idea if I'm going in the right place. Let's see. Like, as far as the map says, I'm supposed to be over here. But whatever. Let's just kind of wander until I can get on some better track. I don't think I'm anywhere close to where I would have thought I should have been. But working with Bethesda in any way is probably not a good long-term idea. Let's see, I'm reading all these journals, and I'm expecting it to give me quests or things, but it's not doing it, which is strange. but yeah, I could see you getting an actual job and doing some actual work for Bethesda and getting something you can actually put on your resume. Imagine trying to put I made this heavily loved mod and put it on the internet for free. That might very well work. It might very well work for like an entry level programming job, but anything else, it's going to be laughed at and not appropriate to have on a resume at all. I've personally programmed Pong. I wouldn't put on my resume that I programmed Pong. I did it in school a long, long time ago. A lot of blood here. Which gives me the idea I'm going to run into something.
I know you were trying to keep it for yourself, Cesar. You always try to keep it for yourself. No, there's got to be more school. Shut up.
This guy's crazy.
Don't lie to me, Cesar. No kidding. Always try to steal.
So we're going to have to sneak up on crazy Jazar. Maybe we won't kill him immediately. Maybe we'll have some dialogue. But yeah, I don't think you can sell mods. I don't think you should spend too much time on mods. I think it's been probably a longer disservice to the video game industry that so many people made mods for Skyrim instead of perhaps fixing worse games or making their own things. Like the fact that there is an entire mod that it's its own story and it's really just using the engine of Skyrim is cool and all, but I would have preferred if they could have sold that for $60 and had no copyright infringement of Bethesda property, so they don't have to deal with Bethesda coming in and trying to put their hands in the modders' pockets, which is eventually really what it just boils down to. It you've got a giant corporation like Bethesda trying to steal pennies from modders, and that's all the mods for sales was ever going to be. And it's not morally right, because modders are basically beggars in the first place. And the moral thing for Bethesda would have been to hire the modders and had them help them create the next. Well, there's an arrow over here, so maybe this is the right way. Create the next Elder Scrolls game and really make something great about it. Or even, let's be more honest, they should have just hired the modders from Skyrim to help them make Fallout 4 be better, which Fallout 4 wasn't amazingly good either. So that's, as we look at the history here, there's definitely a level of laziness and lack of quality, and I hate to just constantly go super negative here, but there is a lack of quality and laziness that seems to exist in Bethesda games. They try to make these giant open worlds, but then they put very little in them that is fun. Research notes. Take this book too. This might actually just be a mission I was supposed to be on to get a book or something. I have no idea. I have no idea what this is we're doing right now. I'll just steal more books. We'll just move forward. There's a lot of AAA games out there that have just a few things wrong with them. They could certainly be improved by even one person putting their focus and attention to modding it. And Bethesda certainly encouraged modders in Skyrim a lot, and I'm sure it's from a history of people modding previous versions of Elder Scrolls games. Is this shovel on fire? No, it's just a torch. A pickaxe. But I would love to see Resident Evil 4 run properly. I'd love to see half of the Lego games on PC run properly. In fact, there's a pretty large list of games that do not run well on Steam. All the humongous kids games from 20 years ago that just use Scum VM aren't configured to run properly by default. So it requires work. Sam and Max Save the World, another game all games I've covered or will be covering soon, and there's here. Just walk backwards, please. Alright, man. I guess I could have just told her to go that way. But there's quite a long list of games that don't run properly. There's an even longer list, I assume, on Steam of games that don't run at all. There's plenty of games that don't run on Linux. There's plenty of games that don't run on Apple, Macintosh things. One modder could, okay, that was weird, could add.
Another of the smooth skins looking for food? This one must have trapped us. No, you must be the one who took my skooma.
Is she gonna attack me?
You picked a bad time to get lost, friend.
Interesting. Didn't have enough soul gems large enough. So he was crazy in there, killing everybody. Why did I take the boots? I thought for a second there I'd search the boots and find skooma. I don't know why I would even think that. Let's go ahead and read these journals. Let's see, we're getting all the story. I figured maybe he would be lying on it. And I just couldn't care less. Empty skooma bottles, gold. What's an empty skooma bottle worth, I wonder? And then you have to get back to The Witcher 3. And certainly that's a newer game, but in comparison, even though the inventory management was a nightmare in The Witcher 3 too, it's a huge improvement over this. I don't feel like I was ever in a situation in The Witcher 3 where I was overburdened. Maybe I did it once or twice. I've done it hundreds of times in this game. And very possibly will do it hundreds more. Like, I'm right now picking up things that are slowly filling up my inventory. So I'm hoping what this does is coming out of this section brings me to an area. I'm hoping this thing means something. We've got some oil. Got plenty of dwarven arrows sitting around. Still not certain what the dwarven bolts are all about. They seem to be completely like pointless items. Just there specifically to be a zero weight item that you pick up. Maybe in playtesting they found that people were getting super overburdened with all this dwarven stuff. I could see that. And so they were trying to balance it out in some strange way. Like, why would I want to stand on that thing, I wonder? I'd be afraid it would kill me. The pistons. This looks like gas. See, I'm seeing wavy lines that look like gas to me. It would be an interesting point in the game if I walked into some poison gas and all of a sudden started hallucinating. But I kind of don't see a reason for that. Archery's up to 36. Using the blacksmith forge right now would be a mistake. If there was a really easy way to get back to this section, if there is an elevator right here, I could totally see picking up all of these and making a bunch of ingots off the dwarven items. And see, maybe that's what happens here, is that there's... No, this is just a gate with a novice lock on it. We're at level 98, working to 99. A lockpick back, interesting. Take that, take that. More lockpicks. More rings. See, you could probably make a ton of dwarven stuff. Like, if you just went crazy here. What's my crafting at, though? Like, smithing is at 93. So I would have to be able to take all of this stuff and find a smeltery. Is there a smeltery over here? No. So this wouldn't help me one bit. This is kind of just put here for no reason. Like, while I could certainly craft things, smelting ores and smelting dwarven items is actually pointless. I can't do that. Oh. I thought they were being nice to me, and it turns out they weren't. Not unless I find a smeltery somewhere down here. What's this do? Alright. Nothing too much to worry about. A lot of noise, a lot of background sound. I don't dislike that it's in the game. I just feel like some of the directionality doesn't play on my PC the right way. Let's see, ruby, gold, potions, sure grip. There we go. It's not an ambient enough inclusion of sounds. Maybe if I turned up the audio a little bit more to myself, it would sound slightly different. Yeah. Last thing I'd want to do is fall down. That would be a nightmare. It seems like the dwarves mostly walked through hallways all their lives. It's just nothing but hallways versus hallways, with the occasional sleeping quarters. Maybe they didn't sleep much. Maybe the dwarves, well, actually robots. Who knows? I guess doing these few apprentice locks is making progress. So robot just sitting there. Diamond. Gleaming. Interesting. It's gonna be really tough to not be overburdened. I'm probably just gonna have to eventually decide to drop something. That's effectively all I'm doing now is dropping things and holding on to them in case I ever need them. And these spiders seem to be crazy. They don't see me because my stealth, I guess, is high enough now. So I can just sneak up on them in their natural habitats. Let's see. Levers, cups, all of that. Still not certain where we're going or what we're doing. I'm just kind of working my way. Now on this, I don't want to get pushed over. So I could probably jump over, but no, I'm gonna just run. I imagine getting knocked over would require me to run around a lot more than I would like to. But then they put a bad guy right here. Come on. To mess with me. And then the music comes in. And then the music goes away. And whatever we're looking for is behind this door. And a monocle, whatever that is. Well, this certainly looks a lot brighter than the other section. Let's see. This is a collapsed thing. I thought that might be a mural. And we have dealt with gas, I think, in this game, unless I'm thinking of a different game. But we certainly haven't dealt with it in a long, long time. And really only in one section. Polymers. Maybe we'll start dealing with some polymers. We haven't seen polymers in a while. Haven't done anything in a while since I took that long break playing Skyrim. I suppose at this point I can say I've seen some preliminary numbers of views on Skyrim, and it's slightly better than when I cover any other random game. There is a following there, as my videos seem to be getting closer to 5 views on average than what at a time was feeling like. A lot of times videos will go out and I get 3 views, and it's very possible all 3 of those views were me watching the video to make sure it's of some quality. But it's hardly a 20 view increase. It's not a massive increase to the point where I could in my mind say I will put up with playing Skyrim forever and ever like I do with well, I do it with Hearthstone because every time there's a new expansion in Hearthstone, my videos that cover those expansions get 250 to 2,000 views. And all of these numbers are still very small because my channel is very new and frankly not that popular. You can't say otherwise, can ya? So here's another journal, and let's see, can I get this bow? He died trying to pick this chest. So unless things drastically changed over the months that the rest of the videos air, because I think right about now maybe 38 or episode 40 of Skyrim has aired, and there's probably at least 60 now. Well, it should actually be a lot higher. If I've done 150 hours, and there should be 150 now. But I'm not sure I've really done that much. Feels like I have. So unless throughout that time a lot more viewership comes into my channel and it becomes real popular, I can't justify the frustration of playing Skyrim. Plus, even if I start going with mods and I try to alleviate the frustration of being overburdened all the time and all of that, and start seeing other content that's not actually made by... I wonder if I've been to this area before. That's not been made by actually Bethesda, which I don't have a problem with covering other people's creations and mods. It's just, it's another step away from the normal for my channel, because then I become the specialist channel that's covering Skyrim mods, and there's already a specialist channel I specifically watch that's very popular that does that. There's probably room for more than one, but I don't know if I'd be number two. I get the feeling I've been here before. We've certainly seen buildings like this. There's definitely some inconsistency in the architecture here, though. Really, really inconsistent, as it seems. Because you have the Falmers running around, and you have... Sometimes Dwarven architecture is super enclosed, and sometimes it's wide open, like they dug out caves, and that's just weird. It sounds like there might be somebody on the other side of this door. How long have I been playing? Alright, just double check that. And these guys, I don't know if they're mining still or what. I'm just gonna continuously... Let's hope this gate doesn't shut on me. I think the game has now adapted to the point where it's giving me ridiculously expensive items, and those and there's nobody to sell it to. Next time I level up, I guess I can give whatever. Let's see, bone meal, the locked room. Lock picking increased to level 99 by reading that book. That's nice. I think I could probably get to level 100 right now. I wonder if it's worth it to go go legendary with lockpicking, though. I don't think it is. I think once you get to that point, you might as well just stay, because it's gonna make master lockpicking easier, and this lockpicking minigame in particular is just another part of the grind. It's a slightly different thing to do versus sneaking around killing creatures, but it if somebody told me they were going to make a small indie game that was based off this lockpicking mechanic, I'd say that's not going to sell. That's a cell phone game that people would spend maybe 5 minutes on and then be done. Particularly since it only barely represents actual lockpicking, and if people are interested in lockpicking, they would be better off actually learning how to do it, for legal reasons, of course, like you locked yourself out. So I'm up to 100, and it says 101 down there, but you may notice it's not going any higher every time I mess up here. Alright, just gotta get this right. I think that's way too wrong. It's somewhere in here. Come on. Almost there. I've got to be a lot more careful with this. Honestly, I have plenty of lockpicks though, so it's not like I'm gonna actually run out of things. Flawless emerald, 250 gold necklace, dragon scale gauntlets, and steel battle axe of binding, and staff of charge. So now I've got to put something away, and we've got some things. Let's get rid of the boots, the dragon scale. I think we could easily get rid of this one. Do I have any weapons here? Blessed steel great sword. It's funny I'm finding steel items. Those are kind of rare. Ebony bow. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. And then staff of courage. We'll get rid of that. And steel battle axe of binding. Probably should get rid of that too, shouldn't I? Sorry. And then food. Clam meat. I'm gonna hold on to that. Probably gonna get rid of the apple, the potato, legs of gold, goats and leeks. But I'm gonna hold on to the clam meat. Do I have anything I could eat right now and get the fourth ingredient? No, because I don't have that ability yet. But once I do, I could eat this and learn. I can eat this and learn. I can eat this and learn. Eat that one and learn. Of course, I should just really hold on to everything, because I think I just ate the one item I had that would have taught me a new ability. let's see. Books. Like, I don't know if any of these books are useful or not, so I wouldn't want to get rid of them. Miscellaneous things. You could get rid of the basket. Charcoal. Probably one child stall is fine to get rid of. Dwemer pan. Empty skooma bottles will hold on to. Firewood. Actually, that would be very nice. This girl's red dress. We'll get rid of one of those. Let's see. The supplies. Let's get rid of skulls. I don't need skulls. Torch, don't need that. Wooden bowls, don't need that. Wooden plate, don't need that. Alright, so that on itself is probably slightly helpful. Let's find a potion of cure disease. And let's see. Potion of cure disease 28. So we'll right trigger one of these right there, and then we should be fine. Nice. And off we go. Or do we not go? Seriously? What was I looking for? Here. The arrow is gone, so I think it was this. I think whatever quest I was supposed to do, and there's no quick exit. Let's look at the map. Like, this is nothing. There's nothing here. I feel like the game might be screwing with me. Well, I don't see another way out of here, so I'm gonna try and jump down here and not die. That was a massive jump. How'd you make it down? So yeah, it was a collapsed ground, and I guess you were just supposed to jump down that way. Or maybe I found a secret area of some small amount. I don't know what we're gonna really find here. My health is back to what it was. Does this thing just push that when you stand on it? I guess it does. What if I jump down further? Well, it looks like you jump to your death. If you did that. I'm still very uncertain what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. Take the polymer here and the arrows and leave everything else. Here's another bow. There's a piston. And see, these guys aren't moving. And I don't know if that's because my stealth is really good, or if the game engine has just now become this broken thing. What are they fighting over there? Something's over here. They just don't see me. Oops. I guess they were fighting these. Or maybe they were fighting a skeever. Seems like just a random collection of things all deciding to attack each other. And if we went down any further, again, I just think this is not the way. They did say something about going deeper and deeper. And if we are trying to reach a place that's at the bottom of these caves and hasn't been found in a long time, I guess we are on the right path in the sense that we're going somewhere where we can't go back. I guess it doesn't matter at this point. Either we're trapped down here forever, which wouldn't be very much of a very video game like for that to be the case, or we're going to find another way out. Let's see. Bunch of legs of that creature.
Huh?
Move. Yeah. Or calcum ore, silver ore, iron ore. Why is it giving me all this smithing stuff, I wonder? Boy, it sure doesn't seem to take too much effort to kill these guys and collect their souls anymore. I wonder if I did something so that time didn't count down as fast. Now, there's no reason right now, I think, to use the alchemy ingredients, so feel free to ignore that. Yeah, I guess. Sure, I have a lot of foamer ears and stuff like that that might work in potions, maybe not. Here we have a bunch of dead people that they were eating. Let's see, a skull, hand, skeleton, bowls. Doesn't look like there's actually much of anything important there. And there's nothing in these. These aren't chests, or they're just weird shrines they make. Gold ore sitting right on the floor. I wish we had started Skyrim like that, where you would find ore everywhere, and it would really encourage you to do more smithing early on, instead of being at a legendary level and doing all the smithing like way later. Could be very well that I am finding ore because I'm on the main path instead of side missions, but I can't feel guilty about that, like that's my fault, when the game very intentionally pushes you to do companion quests and other quests and get distracted. I went legendary on archery and I'm almost up to level 40. What'll be interesting is if I get back to level 100 on archery, then I really don't have a reason to keep her as my companion, and I can go find somebody that can teach me some other ability in something else, whatever that might be. Ideally, I think it would be a magical ability. I haven't done anything with magic at all, so if I had somebody that would teach me like destruction magic up to level 100, if they go up that high, which I don't think they do, they usually seem to stop at least at level 90 or 95. Farkas was very helpful in improving my heavy armor ability, so at a certain point I can make some really heavy armor and increase my defense, which might then later on help me increase my defense and blocking. Interesting it didn't unlock there. And he's just walking around, doesn't even see us. We're getting a bunch of arrows, but I think they're not useful arrows anyways. I think everything cooking here is either food or a potion ingredient, so that's fine to take. I've got a workbench. Let's see, could I use the workbench perhaps? Nope. I could get the dragon scale gauntlets if I had dragon scales up to 56 versus my glass gauntlets, which are at 77. So there's still a level of things I would need to do. Maybe I could make jewelry, like the emerald necklace, I believe, is the most expensive thing you can make anyway, so if I can make one of them, that's only gonna help me save space. Unfortunately, it looks like, as far as I can guess, there's at least a little bit more to this area, and hopefully we're in the right place. The weirdness here is we don't really know what we're doing. I might very well need to go to this Bothinian place, the Shrine of Bothinian, first before I do anything else, which, okay, if that's the case, then that'll be our next goal if this doesn't end up doing anything. Anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a button that says support this channel. And down below in the description box, I have links to all my social media sites. Please follow and friend me on all of those. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.